You guys hear me? Awesome. All right, while he's getting hooked up, let's see if I can run. Okay. So I am the principal UX designer for software and services at GoPro. And what I'm going to share with you today is a project that I worked on last year. Still working on it. It started out as a skunk work project. And now it's become one of our major software initiatives. So I'll lay down some background information first so you kind of know what problems we're trying to solve. So first I'm going to talk about the promise of storytelling, the problem of overcapture, and then how do we figure out what our point of view is, and then walk through the 3 experiments we ran. We actually ran a whole bunch of experiments, but the 3 critical ones are the one I'll go through today. And then outcome and guiding principles. Okay, throughout the presentation, you'll see refer to this word highlight. And it's not misspelled, it's just our own branded way of misspelling this word. Our CEO kind of likes to change names of things. And what this word means is when you select the best moment in your video. So if you have a long video, you go, that's a good moment, right? So that's what that word means. Okay, so when people think of GoPro, they think of this. And what we're known for is we're known for our small form factor cameras, right? And the output is really, really high definition, wide angle, and just really immersive. That's what we're known for. And we create all these, this system of mounts for you to be able to share your moment, to capture your moment while you're doing it, while you're in action, right? So this is what we're known for. But when you buy a GoPro, you don't buy a GoPro to wear the mounts. You buy a GoPro because you want to tell your story. And so every GoPro camera carries with it the promise of storytelling. And for a long time, right, we weren't delivering on this promise because GoPro traditionally has been a hardware company. Software is a new thing. We're kind of a startup within GoPro. So we were relying on users to use existing tools like iPhoto, iMovie, Adobe Premiere, those kind of tools, Windows Media Manager. So we were relying on users to use their own tools to manage and edit their videos, right? So there are many touch points between capture and storytelling, and we weren't giving users tools to do that. We were relying on users to do it themselves. And this also reflects the shift in who we're serving. So initially, GoPro was serving a lot of pros and hobbyists, but now we're getting, families who use GoPro, take it on vacation. So we have to think about a more consumer-centric experience that's very easy for users to use. All right, the problem of overcapture. So instead of telling you, I'll show you in a bit. So when you use a mobile phone to take a video or a photo, that's significantly different than how you would use a GoPro to capture. And a lot of people don't really understand this. When you use your mobile phone and you're capturing something, you're saying, oh, that's a good moment, snap. Oh, you look good there, I'm going to take a snap, right? So you're saying, I recognize that this is a good moment. I'm going to do something. When you capture a GoPro, you just turn it on, and then you do your thing. You're living your life. You engage with the moment. You're not engaged with the device, right? So our user calls this set it and forget it. I just need to set it, and then it's done. And then when I'm done, I turn it off, right? So you're capturing a lot of stuff. So as a team, we started looking at, how do we create a video editing tool, and we look at the landscape of video editing, and it's really complex. It takes a lot of time, and we know because we have a media team that all they do is video edit day and night, right? So if you look at something like Adobe Premiere, it is freaking intimidating. The reason why it's intimidating is because Adobe Premiere is used to create anything from a slideshow to a full commercial or a documentary, right? The average user have no need for, 95% of these tools. iMovie, right? So iMovie is a lot simpler, but still takes a lot of time. If you look at all video editing software, the main thing they have in common is that you're always managing time. You're managing the time of your clips, when the clip starts, when the clip ends. You're managing music and how it syncs to each moment that you put in, right? So when the music drops is when you transition. So all those little decisions takes time. And then even if you know how to use the tool, you don't know what makes a good story, right? You watch a YouTube video and you're like, oh, that looks cool. How do I do that? This is what our users say. One user we interviewed said, I know what a good video looks like, but I don't have the skills to make them look that way. So the challenge for our team is, how might we enable users to create an emotional story and make storytelling easy and fun? So this is how I think about every product, right? Every product has to have guiding principles that are informed by user insight. And so where we started, when you work at a company, everybody has opinions and everybody have their own expertise and understanding about the problem. And as designers, the way that we understand the problem is we start to ideate and do wireframes and concepts and so on and so forth, so we can understand the problems better and we can understand the flows better. What engineering does is they might create their own prototypes so they can understand their perspective on how to solve the problem. But those are just assumptions, right? They're not about engagement. They're really not about, they haven't validated anything. You kind of understand how you might approach a problem from a technical level or from a user experience level. So what we do is after we have, the assumptions, we create hypotheses, and then we build experiments. When we started this project, we didn't have any aligned assumption either. We had no clue. Because we don't want to go and repeat what Premiere does or even iMovie because they've been around for over a decade, right? There's no way nor do we want to. So what we're trying to do is, when we run the experiments, is we're trying to ask the questions, what trade-off are users willing to make? If you look at any product that has a point of view, there's always a trade-off. And for our purposes, we're trying to figure out, are users willing to give up control to get to something quicker? And even if they can't customize everything, are they willing to give that up? So we had this idea. So our idea is essentially to get away from time. Make users not have to worry about tweaking in and out points, not worry about the idea of syncing things. All they're going to do is select a highlight, select a point in the video where they think that was a good part. And so we also thought of the idea of, maybe the music is smart. That music is emotional, right? And we have the idea that good storytelling is emotional storytelling. And music is already inherently emotional. So what if we can dissect the structure in the music and then sync it to the moments that the user tells us that these are moments that are important to them? So that was the preliminary idea that we had, but we didn't know how to pull it off. It was through a series of prototyping that we were able to validate certain things. All right, so we all are familiar with the diverge and define diamond, right? The way we approach it is a little different. Our approach is that when we ideate diverging behaviors or diverging solutions, we build two prototypes, and we design the prototypes to test the behaviors. We're not testing the solution. And the prototypes we build are really, really ugly. The only guideline we have is that it has to be believable. It has to feel like it's a real piece of software, right? So we're testing two behaviors that are opposite of each other. And through testing those two diverging behaviors, we figure out what the user's motivation is. So we ran the research in San Mateo and in Cardiff by the Sea to get a diverse demographic. So the two models that we have is a linear timeline and smart storyboard. The linear timeline works like any other editor, where you have control over the music, control over the clips. The clips are not synced to the music. You can make the clips as long or short as you want. You can basically move them around. It's not tied to the music at all. And a good way to explain it is here. At the top is basically the linear model. Time is infinite. You can make the video as long as you want. You can have parts where the music's not playing. The smart storyboard, the music is the story. You can't do anything that doesn't have music. You select a track, and when you drop moments in, it snaps to the emotional points in the music. So the hypothesis is that adding moments to dynamically fill and sync to a predefined music duration would be quicker and easier for users to tell their GoPro story than the linear timeline. The interesting thing that we found when we ran the tests, and we actually did it this way on purpose because we did a bunch of pilots, was we didn't tell the user that the music was synced. And a lot of times when they build their first story, they would play it and they go, that was pretty good. I got lucky. It sounded like the music was synced. Or they go, oh, I think that was a coincidence, but that was pretty good, right? So they didn't think it could happen. And when we told them, they were like, yeah, right. And then we told them to change the music. And at the point they changed the music and they saw that the video automatically syncs to music, they were blown away. They go, oh, my mind's blown, right? So there's a moment where they feel like magic happened. And this is the key, right? This is the crux of our the whole project. We realized that the whole point is not to create a video that rivals Premiere. The point is to create a video good enough that users want to share, right? So if you look at the dotted line is something like that you would do in iMovie. The more time you put into your video, the better it is, right? So you can invest a ton of time, it just gets better and better and better. And then you have this Oscar quality movie, right? For us, what we're doing is we're getting you something close to complete sooner. But it'll never be better than that. But it's good enough for you to share, right? So we found that, we found that sweet spot, right?